All right, you're in federal court, you've just been sentenced, and you're wondering what your recourse might be at this point. Well, you basically have 4 different paths to relief. Potential relief. There's nothing guaranteed, right? But potential relief. Number 1 is a direct appeal. You file your appeal based on the record to try to challenge your conviction. If you've pled guilty, your appellate rights are very limited, because they're limited to things on the record. And as you've probably seen some of my other videos, when it comes to particularly ineffective assistance of counsel, which is the typical route that a lot of people go once they've pled guilty, you're limited to things on the record, and most of what you use for an ineffective assistance of counsel claim is not stuff on the record. So your appeal, if you pled guilty, is probably pretty limited, but that's still an option for you and might be something for you to pursue. If you went to trial, definitely pursue a direct appeal as your first recourse in challenging your conviction. Number 2 is habeas corpus. The old Latin phrase is somewhere else in my videos you'll find that talks about showing us the body. We need to be given a good legal reason for putting this body into a prison. And for habeas corpus, you can either file under Section 2255 or Section 2254 or Section 2241. 2255 is for federal convictions. 2254 is you've exhausted all of your state rights for post-conviction and now you want to get in federal court. 2241 is you have maybe done either of those, have been unsuccessful, or it's not available to you, and there's a small chance you might be able to get relief with 2241. I will tell you 2241 is pretty rare and generally has to do with some kind of custody issue as opposed to a legal issue. So if you think you might have that claim, you need to reach out to me about that one. But that's your second potential recourse is habeas corpus. And the big thing about habeas corpus is you have a 1-year statute of limitations to file it. Not 2241s, but they're rare. And if you want to go outside of that year, there are rare exceptions, and you just need to reach out to me. We can see if maybe you follow those exceptions, but oftentimes after the year, you're kind of out of line for that path anyway. Third option is compassionate release. Compassionate release is an equitable form of relief, and it basically just means it's not legal in nature, it's not substantive in the law, it's not a legal argument, it's an equitable, gracious argument. Basically, the argument is, let this person out of prison early because they're no longer a threat to society. There's extraordinary compelling reasons for their being let out, whether it be a health issue or their age or some combination of those things. The courts have expanded that grounds for relief because of COVID, so you might qualify for compassionate release if you've done at least 50% of your sentence. You have to usually be toward the end of your sentence for it to be seriously considered to get relief through compassionate release after federal conviction. And fourthly and finally is clemency. This is filing a clemency petition with the president's office to get the president's legal team to decide if they'll either commute your sentence, which is basically just give you credit for the time you've served and let you out, or pardon your sentence completely, which means we're just going to say that you didn't do anything wrong and the conviction was wrong from the get-go. Those are rare and hard to come by, but they can be done. The Biden administration is relatively open to them, and I use relative very strongly because they're still hard to come by, but that is a lot of times the last path that people will take if your appeal didn't work, if you're not going to get relief through habeas corpus, and if compassionate release isn't available to you, then clemency might be a path that you can pursue. So those are the 4 different paths you can pursue for post-conviction relief in federal court for federal convictions. I hope this was helpful for you. Let me know if it was.